Praise Hashem Yisbarach. We begin the next Perek of Masechta Nedarim. Perek Shmini, the 8th Perek. Zok Heilige Mishnah. Kainam yayin sha'ani tayim. Person makes a neder that he will not taste any wine. And what does he say? Hayoim, today. So the term he uses is hayoim. So then, Eina aser elo achetechshach. So it's not going to be aser for him to drink wine only until the end of that day, until it's dark, which means until Tzeisak Yechavim. Because he said Hayom. Hayom doesn't mean a full 24-hour period. It just means until today ends. Shabbazu, a person makes a neder that he's not going to drink wine for this Shabbos. Now in the Mishnah and B'chlal and Gemara, the term Shabbos is not referred to Shabbos itself, but it refers to the week. It says, I'm not going to drink wine for this week. Aser b'chol Shabbos. So he's asked to drink wine for that entire week. What that means for the remainder of that week. In other words, we're not going to say full 7 days, but whatever is left of that week. And v'Shabbos sha'avra. And Shabbos is considered to be also one of the days of this week. In other words, we count Shabbos in the past, not for the future, for the next week. Or the Bachavir's Gairis, Shabbos lishe avar. It goes on the past week and not on the future week. So your neder will end by the end of Shabbos. Chaydish, the person says, I will not drink wine this month. Aser b'chala chaydish. So he's asked to drink wine the entire chaydish for the remainder of that month. V'Rosh Chodesh la'aba. When it comes to Rosh Chodesh is already the beginning of the following month. It's not counted with the past month. Shana, a person says he will not drink wine the entire year. Aser b'chol hashana. He's not allowed to drink wine for the remainder of this year. V'Rosh Hashana la'asad lavai. And the Rosh Hashanah is part of the coming year, the next year that's coming. Now, but if a person says a different lashon, if a person says that he's not going to drink, this is one more case that's related to all these cases we just mentioned. Shavua zeh, a person says he's not going to drink wine for Shavua zeh. In the Mishnah, the term Shavua means the entire period of these 7 years. Okay? When you have the Shemitah cycle, once every 7th year, there's Shemitah. So Shavua zeh means the cycle of the 7 years of Shemitah. So then, Aser b'chol ashavua. He'll be Aser to drink wine the remainder of these 7 years. V'shvius sha'avra, and the Shemitah year itself is part of the cycle of these 7 years. Now, however, v'imamad, if the person said, Yoim echad, I will not drink wine for 1 day. So he's not saying hayoim, today, but he said Yoim echad, for 1 day. Or he says Shabbos achas, I will not drink wine for 1 week. Or Chodesh echad, for 1 month. Shana achas, for 1 year. Shavua echad, for 1 period of 7 years. So then, aser miyoim liyoim. So when it comes to the day, he will not be allowed to drink for a full 24-hour period. So if it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so his neder lasts until the next day, 3 o'clock. And the same with all the other examples, that it goes for the full period, a full 7 days, a full year, day by day, and the same is full 7 years. Now, what if a person said, Ad ha-Pesach, I'm not going to drink wine, my neder is until Pesach. So what does until Pesach mean? Does it include Pesach or not? So Aser achi yagia. So then he's only not allowed to drink the wine until Pesach arrives. But once Pesach begins, then it's not part of his neder. Because he said ad, until. Achi yehei, if he says until Pesach will be, so the word sheyehei means aser achi yetze. So then it'll be aser to drink wine. His neder is until Pesach ends. Then, but that's achi yetze. Okay, but if he said ad lifnei ha-Pesach, he used two different terms that are sort of contradictory. He says until and before Pesach. So what does that mean? Does it include Pesach or does it not? Rav Meir aser achi yagia. Rav Meir says that it does not include Pesach. It's only going to be aser until Pesach arrives, because lifnei means until before Pesach, without including Pesach itself. Rabbi Yosi aser ad sheyetze. Rabbi Yosi says this term ad lifnei means that it actually includes until the last moment of Pesach. The last moment of Pesach, he meant until that time of the last moment of Pesach. So basically until the last moment of Pesach, he will not be allowed to drink any wine. So the Gemara. Yeah.
When did he make it?
When did he make the neder? Let's say middle of the week. He says Shabbos Zu, and he's on Tuesday.
So it doesn't mean sure. It just means
the lashon.
The days that are left in the week.
Yeah, exactly. Sagt the Gemara, Koinim Yaim Shani Tayim Chulu, said in the Mishnah, a person made this neder. So if he said, the neder for the day, if he said that the neder is Hayoim, today, so then what's the halacha? The Mishnah said that the neder lasts only until the night time. Not a 24-hour period, not until the next day. But on this, Rabbi Yirmiyah said, Likeshe Techshach, when it becomes dark, even though Minatayra, the neder doesn't last past darkness, Tzorech Sheila L'Chacham. He still should go and request a heter for a Chacham to be allowed to drink the wine before the 24-hour period is up of his neder. Why? My time, what's the reason for this? Didn't we say that Hayyai means today, only until at night? It doesn't go the whole 24-hour period, so why should he need to request a heter for that 24-hour period? Rav Yosef says, Gzeire Hayyim Mishum Yom Echad. Because there's a Gzeire over here, that a person might confuse Hayyim with Yom Echad. If he's allowed to drink wine as soon as it's night, when he says Hayyim, so then if he said Yom Echad, which does mean a 24-hour period, he may say, oh, when I said Hayyim, I was allowed to drink as soon as it was night. So when I say Yom Echad, I could also drink when it's night. And really then, it is a 24-hour period. So therefore, Chacham were geyser, for a person not to confuse this, that at night he should still have to be matan neder if he wants to drink. Amalei, someone gets here is Abaye. The Bach says, Amalei Abaye. So Abaye asked the question on this. If so, we should also make a gzeire in the opposite. B'yoyim echad, if a person says yoyim echad, which is the full 24-hour period, so like I said, let's say it's 3 o'clock, so the neder lasts until the next day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there as well, we should make a gzeire that it should be asur for him to drink wine until when? Until night. Mishom hayayim. Because he shouldn't come to confuse this with when a person says hayayim, just like hayayim means until the end of the day, until night. So when he makes the neder middle of the day, a 24-hour period, and the neder is going to end midday sometime, so then he might confuse that with the neder of hayayim and also stop... think that his neder is stopping in the middle of the day. Amalei, so Rav Yosef answered him. Right, who's speaking of? Is it Rav Yosef? Yes. So Rav Yosef answered him. Hayayim b'yayim echad michlif. A person will make a mistake and exchange the hayayim with yayim echad. Meaning that if yayim echad, because by yayim echad you say that the person is the neder lasts until the middle of the day, so therefore that could cause a person to make a mistake with the neder that you allowed him to eat until at night, right? Because here the person says to himself, look, here I have this neder that I was already allowed to eat earlier, already at nighttime. So when a person is going to make the neder of Yom Echad, he's going to say to himself, why should I wait the 24-hour period? Why should I wait so long? I'll only wait until at night. That's a kind of mistake a person will make. But Yom Echad ba'ayom loy michlef. But to make a mistake the other way around, that a person, when he did have to wait past the night, he waited it until at night and he waited the full 24-hour period. He waits all the way to the next day. To say that a person will make a mistake when he makes a neder, that he doesn't have to wait until at night because he's going to say, look, the other neder, I stopped in the middle of the day, that kind of a mistake a person is not going to make. Adarabah, by the neder of Yoim, what is it over here again? By the neder of Yom Echad, he waited even longer. He waited the full 24-hour period. So a person is not going to make the mistake and to say because of that the neder that he said, Yom Zeh, is going to be before night. It should be even less. So therefore that's not a mistake that a person makes. Now the Gemara adds another interesting point to this. So according to what we just learned until here, the neder that a person makes when he says that the neder is only for Hayom, and now we said that there's a gzeira, that he should still keep his neder until the next day, and otherwise he has to be mata neder. So the Gemara now says that gzeira is not the only reason why Chachamim were geiser. Omer Avine, Omer li Mereime said to me, Hachi Omer Avuch Mishmei Rav Yosef. This is what your father told me in the name of Rav Yosef. Kaman Ozla, according to who does it go? And the Bach adds over here, Kaman Ozla Hoshmaite the Rav Yirmiyah Ba'abba. According to it, is this statement that we just learned from Rav Yirmiyah Ba'abba. Before the Gemara didn't say Barabba, some Agoris there Barabba. Rav Yirmiyah Ba'abba said this halacha that we make this gzeira here. Rab Nosson, it follows what Rab Nosson says. The Tanya, Rab Nosson Neimer, Rab Nosson says, Kol ha-neder, a person that makes a neder, ki'ilu bana bama. It's a negative thing. Like we already learned before a few times, it's like you built a bama in the time when you're not allowed to build a bama, after the Beis HaMikdash was in Yerushalayim. V'amekaimoi, if you keep this neder, if you're not matter this neder, ki'ilu makter aleh. It's like you brought a carbon on this bama that's not allowed. So what's the Gemara saying here? What's the connection? So the Ran explains, even though before the Gemara said that this whole thing is a gzeira, when you make a neder hayayim, so even though the neder min HaTorah should be only until at night, but there's a gzeira that you should keep the neder until the next day, but nevertheless, now the Gemara is saying that gzeira alone would not be enough of a reason for Chachamim to extend the neder. The reason why Chachamim extended the neder is also because of this reason here as well. Because it's sort of a knas. The fact that the person is keeping his neder, Chachamim said, even though the literal meaning of your neder is only till at night, nevertheless, your neder should last a 24-hour period until the next day. So it's sort of a combination of both reasons. The gzeira, and the fact that Chachamim are giving him a knas because he's keeping his neder. So the Chachamim are telling him, you should be matter neder. The Gemara continues, yeah, the halacha b'poil is the same, correct. Sagt the Gemara, Shabbazu Aser B'chol HaShabbos Kula. So then the Mishnah said, when you use the term Shabbazu, which means this week, it includes the entire week, including Shabbos. The Shabbos is the seventh day of the week, so it's part of your neder. Fragt the Gemara, Pshita, it's obvious. Why would I think that it shouldn't include the whole week? And why would I think that Shabbos is already part of the next week? Shabbos is the seventh day of the week. Says the Gemara, Mao de Teime, because I would think to say, Yaimid de Shabbat Tekama. When he says Shabbos, he means the regular weekdays. That's what it means. It doesn't include Shabbos itself. So Shabbos is different than the regular days of the week. It's a special day. Or especially, you could say, according to what the Mishnah was speaking about here, what was it speaking about? The example the Mishnah gave is of wine. So maybe when it comes to Shabbos, a person is drinking wine and to make Kiddush, so maybe he didn't mean to include Shabbos itself in the days of the week. Kamash Malan, that's what the Mishnah is saying, that Shabbos is included in the days of the week. The Mishnah said, Chodesh zeh aser b'chol ha-chodesh. He says that this month should be aser, so he's aser for the entire remainder of the month, but for Rosh Chodesh, when it comes to Rosh Chodesh lahaba, that's already the beginning of the following month, so it's not part of the neder. So again the Gemara asks, Pshita, isn't that obvious that the Rosh Chodesh is already the beginning of the next month? Answers the Gemara, Ki itztriche, when do I need to teach me this halacha here? L'chodesh chaser. When the following month is a chodesh that's only chaser, it's missing, meaning it's only 29 days. Now, if the following month is 29 days, that means that the month that you're in now, you're middle of the previous month, let's say, this month actually has 30 days in it, right? That's how the calendar usually works. 1 month 29 days, 1 month 30 days. So the current month that you're in, when you made the neder, has 30 days. So if so, Mao the Teime, I would think to say Reish Chodesh l'Sha'ava Hava, that the Reish Chodesh, the first day of Reish Chodesh, which is Lamed, the 30th day of the month, that actually belongs to the past. It belongs to this month that you're in, that you made the neder. And the Gersa that Aran most Rishonim Agayris here in the Gemara is Velitzer, not Veloi, but Velitzer, and therefore this should be Aser, and it should be part of the neder. Kamash Malam, that's the Chiddush here, that even the Lamed of the month, which is the first day of Rosh Chodesh, Karo Inshi Reish Yarche, people refer to it as Rosh Chodesh, it's the first day of Rosh Chodesh. So if it's called Rosh Chodesh, even though it's the 30th day, but it's considered to be the head and the beginning of the next month, and in the language of people, it's not part of the neder. The next thing the Mishnah said, Shana Zu Aser B'chol HaShana, you say this year, you Aser in the entire year, B'chol HaShana Kula, the entire remainder of the year. So the Gemara, Ibaya Lahu, the question was asked. Omar, so this is B'chlal regarding all the Lashonis that it said here in the Mishnah. So there's another Lashon that the Mishnah did not spell out what the halacha is. What's if the person said, Kainim yayin shani toyim yain? I make a neder not to taste wine, and he didn't say ha yain. He didn't say yaim echad, but he said yain, a day. So what does that mean? My dine. What's the halacha now? Ke hayoim? Do I compare it to a person that said hayoim? What does hayoim mean? Just until the day is over, until at night time? Oi ki yaim echad. Or do I compare yaim to the expression of yaim echad, which means a full 24-hour period? Tashema. So the Gemara says, let's look what it says in our Mishnah. Mishnah said, Kainim yain shenitayim hayoim. His neder was not to eat today. So he said hayoim. So then im nosal at shetechshach. So that means only until nighttime. So now what can we understand from this? Ha yaim. So if he did not say ha yaim, but he said yaim, ki yaim echadami. So it seems like that's not included in the term ha yaim. So yaim would be like saying yaim echad, which means a full 24-hour period. So the Gemara says he can't bring a rai from a Mishnah because what's the next halacha the Mishnah says? Omar Yom Echad. If he says the term Yom Echad, one day, so that's a full 24-hour period. Asa miyayim liyayim. So he's asa from today till the next day, and 24 hours are over. So from this you could learn ha yayim. Only if you said Yom Echad do I say it includes a 24-hour period. But if you just said Yayim, Kehayayim dami, so then it's like saying Hayayim, which means only until the day is over, until at nighttime. So Ella mihalek ele mishmamina. From our Mishnah we can't learn that. Our Mishnah says the halacha of Hayayim and then Yom Echad, but Yayim we can't prove from our Mishnah one way or another.
But what's the difference? We learned that they're both the same anyways.
Midrabanan. Midrabanan. Yeah, but Minatayr it's not though.
Oh, there's a question on Minatayr.
Yeah. Amar Ravashi, so Ravashi brings another ayah. So let's finish this in here till the next Amud. So Ravashi says, Toshama, there's a brayse that says, Kainam yayin shani or she'eni toyim, that it will not taste hashana for this year. So nis abra hashana, if the year they added another month, a leap year, there's another adar that Chachamim added in the middle of the year. So then asaba ubi ibura. So it'll include the year, including that added month of the year. That's the halacha the Braisa says. So the Gemara says, Hey Chidami, what is this Braisa speaking about? If the pshat in that Braisa is as it says, what was the language of his neder? That the person said, I'm making a neder for Hashana, for the remainder of this year. So, Lama Lila Memre, what is the chiddush of this Braisa? If he said it's for the remainder of this year, so then whatever the remainder of the year will be, with a leap year, with it being a leap year, with not, so obviously it should include until the year is over. Don't you think the chiddush in that brayse is that he did not say hashana, but the Amma Shana? He said, my neder is for shana, for a year, without saying hashana. So now it's not clear what shana includes. And that's the chiddush of the brayse, that the term shana means including the extra month of this leap year. So Alma, if so, I could learn out from this brayse, shana kehashana dami, that a person that says the word shana without the hey, it's like saying hashana, it includes the extra month of the year as well. If so, says the Gemara, I could learn from here that yaim, if a person says the word yaim, nami kehayim dine, that it has the same halacha as hayim. And what does hayim mean? Until the day is over, until the night. So that's the chayra we can compare. We could learn out just like shana is like hashana, yaim is like hayim. But the Gemara answers, loy, no raya from this brayse. Loy lam, I can read the brayse as it says it. The Omar Hashana. His neder was, I'm making a neder for the remainder of this year. So why? What's the chiddush then that it includes the extra month? Because otherwise I would think to say, Halech Achar Roiv Hashana. Maybe in the language, the way people speak, it only means the way years usually are. Most years are not a leap year. And they don't have that extra month, so maybe it would not include that extra month. Kamash Malan, that's the chiddush of this brayse, that Hashana includes whatever the year this year happens to be, and therefore it means even the extra month of the leap year. But there's no raya to the case of Shana or the case of Yom, so the Gemara never resolves that ibaya.